Welcome to Courageous Conviction. Remember that Jeff and I record each Saturday 5 episodes. So please hit the like button, subscribe so you catch all 5 episodes. We usually start out with one theme or topic. We have to go down a lot of rabbit holes to really understand it. Some things are more sensitive than others right now, what's going on in the world. So hit the like button, subscribe, and let's jump into this video.
Welcome to Courageous Conviction. We're glad to be here, Eric and I, on a Saturday morning. I think both of us have a full house, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So pardon the noise in the background. Kid noise is always a good thing, I think. So it brings in a good spirit. And
I love kid noise.
Yeah, there's always stuff going on, right?
You know, it's something because when I was, when I knew you, I was single and at my pinnacle of my career, right? And I had this big house. I just had good money. And I used to get up every day and pray to have the mess of little kids and the pitter patter of little feet running around, the crying. And there's times here it says, okay, that's enough, right? But then I'd have to stop and remember, I asked for this. The first 4, I didn't pay attention to this enough. These last 2, I'm really trying. Last night we were watching, it was movie night. We try to do family movie night on Friday nights. And we got the surround sound. And we don't have enough money to create a theater, but we still have the idea of having movie night. And my daughter likes to sit next to me, but she wants me to rub her back when we're doing movie night. Well, it's kind of uncomfortable to sit there and she's kind of leaning over and you can rub back for so long, but then your hands get tired. She doesn't want me to stop. She likes to keep going the whole movie. And so I get frustrated with that. I think, well, I want to just relax too. But then last night I felt bad. I got down my prayers and I actually broke down crying. And I thought to myself, the day is going to come that she's not going to want that anymore in just a few years. It'll be weird and awkward to her. Right. And I need to take advantage of that now and think about that, because in 4 or 5 years from now, that won't happen. I'll say, come here, rub your back. She'll go, no, Dad, that's kind of weird, And so I think we have to realize that as parents too, that our children they grow like weeds, and we just sometimes, we want our times. But I thought to myself, and I felt the Spirit chastise me, saying, you're being very selfish. You asked for these kids. Now, rub her back, right? Do what you got to do. So,
no,
anyway.
You're exactly right. I think that we can lose sight because we get so busy with life, and we on our own thing. It's like, I've got a new job, you've got a business that you're trying to run. And it's really easy to get overwhelmed, and say, hey, I don't have time for you right now. But, just like this classic, and this happened to me actually a couple of weeks ago. My son comes up to me and I was busy and I was trying to give him that excuse, like, I can hang out with you, but you need to give me this amount of time. And he goes, look, here's all these quarters. I'll give them to you so I can buy some of your time. And then, it brought some, he goes, I'm like, wow. I mean, I had seen this on like an LDS video, I'm like, now here's my kid actually doing it, trying to buy some of my time from me. And I'm like, oh, wow, what a humbling experience. So, I thought it was great, and of course I had dropped everything that I was doing. Nothing was more important than to be with him.
And at the end of the day, nothing is more important, Jeff. I mean, I look at my kids all grown and gone now. My son, one of my twin boys, my middle boys, got married about 4 or 5 months ago. And I guess it's been about 6 months now. But, they're off to Italy this Sunday. They're taking off to Italy for their honeymoon finally. And I don't ever hear from him. He's off at BYU and he's studying and he's working at the MTC. And she's working. She does sign language stuff and does, her family, oldest son, her father is deaf, and really, really great people, great family, really, really family oriented. But I don't hear from him anymore. He's off there, he's got his own life now. And it's like, man, we were so close and did so much together. And it's like, now I used to talk to him every day, and now it's like, if I call him, he answers the phone, but he hardly ever calls us, just caught up in life himself. And they're gone. And right now life is so demanding. And these kids, we just approved what, a $96 billion package again for Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan and whatever. And, that money's not going to get to them anyway, but where's that money going to come from? Who's going to pay that back? That's going to be our kids and grandkids going to have to suffer. And then Joe Biden announces yesterday that he's going to increase taxes in 2025. This guy thinks he's staying in office. They're thinking for sure they're shoe-ins, which is incredible, which only tells you what they're going to do again, right? But
Yeah,
but
well,
I worry for our kids. What's that?
well, that's why we hope that Trump can make it. I mean, I know a lot of people are against Trump, and he's a loudmouth, but the politics that we've got going, in our direction, if it's not immigration or inflation or any of those big top issues that we all are facing, crime, um, we're all better off with Trump, So I don't see how that any other kind of style of government right now, especially what we're going through right now, that anybody can see how we're on the right track. We definitely aren't. I don't think anybody believes we are on the right track, but everybody wants to blame, the previous president. I don't love the guy. I'm not an advocate for Trump, but I'm an advocate for good, sound politics, and I'm not a fan of the inflation that's happened. I think it's a shame that people can't go and buy a house now, because the prices are too high and interest rates are too high, and it's a shame that the education system is so messed up that it costs so much to have a secondary education. It's just the crime is ridiculous right now.
Well, everybody's so caught up in this false narrative of climate change, right? They're just all caught up in this, and it's a fear thing, right? It's just it's fear mongering at its finest, and this is the same thing that's been repeated over and over from the whole Marxist agenda, whatever field you want to go into, whether it be communism, socialism, etc. It's the same way they implement it and get it in and get the divide, get the division into people, and they get their power, and then getting them out. That's really tough to do. And I actually, these people do believe in this. These people do think that Joe Biden's doing the right thing. They think that these people need a fair shot coming in the country, but they're clueless. But some are starting to wake up now, because, I'm going to tell you something right now. They're getting scared of the whole squatting thing,
because it's not sustainable. The squatting thing and that whole thing it's dangerous. Well, we've made a dangerous country.
Biden announces, yesterday that in 2025 he's going to raise taxes. So our regular rate of tax is going to go up to 39, just over 39%, I think. But then he's going to do a corporate gains tax, an unrealized capital gains tax of 25%. So you're going to have to pay every year if you have an asset. So basically in 4 years, you lose your asset. You got to pay 25% of its value, unless it keeps going up in value, which we know assets don't always do that. So you're going to have to pay this unrealized. This is the stuff I faced in Costa Rica. We had to pay taxes on our unrealized gains from our developments and so forth there. And it was absolutely absurd. They would charge me taxes on money that I hadn't even got yet, just because I had it in contract. It was considered unrealized gain, right?
That's why I quit business in Costa Rica, because, the old saying goes in Costa Rica, if you want to leave Costa Rica with $1 million, bring three, And I made my investment, my small investment in my restaurant wasn't like, your business, but I got taxed up the wazoo, and there was always something to pay to the municipality. There was always a tax to pay. My electricity was, 3 times higher for my little tiny place than it ever was at my house, which was twice as big as my establishment, and used more electricity. It was just, everything was more expensive, whatever I paid to an employee, you could triple that by the time I finished paying the government.
Well, not only that, but the employee also, they have attorneys that are for free for the employees to sue the employer, right? You can't tell you how much time I spent in court, and I just got to the point where I just said, do what you got to do, but I'm not going to give anything to you. And they had no teeth then. I'm sure now they can seize bank account stuff because they're learning from good old American standards, right? We're setting an example. So now you're going to see this theft, since America's getting away with it, and these crooked judges, like this Colombian judge that's in New York right now, just doing this whole thing with Trump. It's just absolutely so Colombian style. It's pathetic. It's like people can't see through this. It amazes me. Now back to our kids. All this, people can say, I don't like Trump, I don't like Elon Musk. Great, don't like him. That's fine. However, if the government can take them down with the best of attorneys, the government can take our property away from any of us. And that's what they're trying to show right now. Now you've got Arizona going to go after all of Trump's attorneys because of election interference, because they were questioning the elections that they were saying, hey, and we know Arizona's been corrupt, and it's not just that election. They've had other corruption, and they've busted people for it there, right?
They called the election long before even Fox News was in bed with that one. They called that election long before, or way before it should have been called.
And so the end result, Jeff, is all this come back to our kids, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do? What do we do about it? I mean, our leadership in the church, I'm going to spin this a little bit, like we were talking earlier. I have friends here that came here on a visa, right? And they're doing the asylum stuff. And I actually had the wife of a former bishop sit down or linger longer afterwards. And we're just sitting in our little corner, minding our own business. And I kind of went to that corner on purpose because that ward's that way, and I'm finding a lot of wards that way, that the people are we're very divided. We're not like united as brotherhood. It's all about claiming your space and your little clique, and you got to be right. And it's like, this is not about brotherhood. It's sad. Yeah. So we get attacked basically saying, why are you bringing why are you helping these Latino people? Because we had another friend come and stay with us for a while. And then these friends of ours are coming here and they're actually business partners with us. And so their church, and then she just goes off and don't be bringing these people here anymore. And she starts threatening. I've got friends that are police that ship those people home. I thought, this is a Latter-day Saint woman. The bishop, this guy's been bishop 3 times, I think. And he's been in the bishopric, right? 3 other times prior to that. And this is the wife of the mother of the ward for so long. And that's how she feels. I thought, this is a sad state of affairs we are in. Where's the brotherhood at? And I went to the bishop and I thought, hey, can I get a minute? He is so rigid. Nope. He just ignored me. And then the person comes in and he goes, you're the person who actually has my time right now. You're on my schedule. He looked at me and he goes, how can I help you then? And I just lost it. I said, you know what, Bishop? I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. You need to sit down with us, and this needs to come to a stop. I don't come to church to play games. Now, I know on this podcast, we're trying to help people come back to church. And the whole idea is that we're going to face this kind of stuff going forward. Our kids are going to face even more division. So what do we do to keep them in their faith? And that's where I want to go today with that. What do we do to keep that faith? Keep them there, keep our kids going so they can have hope, because economically it's going to be miserable for them with inflation going on. And with this, now look, this new capital gains tax is only going to apply to people that have $1 million or more, right?
I thank you for being with us on Courageous Conviction. Remember, there's 5 episodes each week that we put out. We have to go down a lot of rabbit holes, so stay with us, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and don't miss tomorrow's episode on Courageous Conviction.